Good afternoon. How is everyone doing? Yes, this is a momentous day for all of us because at one point or the other, we were victims of this racist system. This is a system that must go, right? For too long, we've been silent. For too long, we have been silent. And as Carl Dix and the Revolution organization said that mass incarceration equals plus silence equals genocide. And if we don't stand up now, guess what? It will be genocide, because as you toured our communities in Brownsville, East New York, Bed-Stuy, Flatbush, even in the Bronx, Harlem, Queens, anywhere that there's a mass population of minorities, right? You can see the cops are flooding the neighborhood and doing as they please, and they claim it's all justified. They're beating the young men and women. They're killing them. Even the grandfathers and grandmothers are being arrested for doing absolutely nothing. Right? My brother, 62 years of age, riding his bike coming from soccer, was thrown off the bike by two detectives, and then they charged him with disorderly conduct to run him through the system. This have to stop. We can't afford to allow the Justice Department to sit by and watch genocide take place. It's our tax dollars that supplying them. That's why we calling for a day of atonement, where we call for the children, the parents to keep the kids away from the schools, calling for people to call in sick, and shut the system down. Shut it down. Hurt them in the pocket. Guess what? They'll start listening. We have to start keeping the pressure on. We can't stop. We must not stop. This is something that been going on for too long. For too long. Human rights are being violated all over the world, but in this country, the richest country in the world, guess what? It's the number one. It is number one. When you have over 80 million people in poverty or sitting by hungry, homeless, think about it. Think about it. They're stripping the schools of basic supplies so these kids can't learn. They're closing the gyms in the school, closing the schools. What do you expect them to do? It is time that we say enough is enough. Tell this mayor, tell this commissioner, don't prey on our young men and women, don't play on our families. None of us is exempt from what's going on. The corporation don't want us talking about this. They want to keep us silent. But guess what? I prefer to speak up and let them kill me than to be silent and let them kill me. I'm not going to be silent. We have to stand up. We have to stand up. People have to wake up and come out and say enough is enough. Enough is enough. Right. No longer must we stay silent. Just last Saturday, Steve, this young man was stopped in front of my house. I was getting ready to go into bed when a woman rang my bell and woke me up and said, "Marcus, you need to come out." They searched this young man's vehicle, a Land Rover, for over 2 hours. Found nothing. Put the handcuffs on him, was getting ready to take him downtown, and said, "Well, we're going to take his vehicle if he don't speak up, if he don't tell us what we want to hear." Because I was standing there, they couldn't carry out what they were planning to do. Unfortunately, the young man was so afraid, he gave me the wrong number, because I would have been coming right here with that number to Police Plaza to let Kelly know this is the type of things that's going on, the atrocity that's going on in our community. So we have to stand up. Don't stand by and watch a wrong being done to anyone. I don't care who you are, what you are, where you're from, or what you do. Let's all stand up. Thank you.
Hey, good afternoon. Good afternoon.
Hey, good afternoon.
Right.
I'm Father Luis Barrios, St. Mary Church, and also John Jay College of Criminal Justice, where most of these people go there to get some kind of knowledge, and most of the time they don't use that knowledge the way it's supposed to be. One of the things we need to always keep in mind is that it's not good to do generalization. This is what I always tell my students at John Jay College. But let me deconstruct the so-called generalization. It's clear that only 3% of police officers commit direct crime against people. However, what happened with the other 97%? They keep silent. Silent equal guilty. They look to the other side. And we're not paying you to look to the other side. We're paying you to take care of whatever it is that we're calling crime, starting with whatever is going on inside this house here with a lot of corruption and a lot of crime. So no exception to the rules. And because I do not believe in no exception to the rule, let me tell you two stories. One day I wake up early in the morning, I'm driving between 8th Avenue and 9th Avenue, bus terminal. I had no idea how the hell I did a U-turn in the middle of the street in front of 4 police officers. It was like I was sleeping. So when I'm doing the U-turn, that's when I became aware. I said, why the hell I'm doing this? This is illegal. And the police officers were in shock because I'm in front of them doing that. It was like, are you really challenging us? He said, well, I'm sorry, officer, that was very stupid on my behalf. I committed a mistake. I understand. Do whatever you have to do. Give me your license. So I'm trying to get my license, and they saw my John Jay College ID. You know what was the first question? Are you a police officer? Well, I'm not a police officer, but I want to know how far I can go. He said, what do you think? His response to the other was, he's one of us. Let it go. I'm one of yours, so I can do whatever shit I want to do here, committing a crime? That's not supposed to happen. And that's what's going on. You have the uniform, you can commit crime. You don't have the uniform, you can't commit the crime. We can't tolerate that. But let me tell you the other story. I wrote a book with a friend of mine on street gangs in New York City. More specific, the Latin Kings. That was the first time we discovered that there is no definition for street gang. Okay, so how the hell are we gonna do dealing with something that we don't have a definition? So we're in the middle of fighting how is that we're gonna understand this so-called social phenomenon. And the leader of the Latin king at that moment, King Tom, started asking, so what's going on? He said, oh, very simple. We're trying to describe the phenomenon, but there is no official definition for a street gang. So he said, I can give you one. You can give us one. That's the definition that we use in the book. So which one is the definition? He said, well, in New York City, you get 8 or 10 black or Latino kids. That's a street gang. If they happen to be white, that's a hockey team. They said, oh, this is very interesting. How the hell we got into that conclusion? This is racial profiling. That you are guilty because the color of your skin. But yes, let's continue deconstructing this, because knowledge is power, okay? Yes, there is a disproportion of people in prison because they're black, because they're brown, because they're Latinos. We understand that. But let's not stop there, because we're going to go into committing a serious mistake that we like to commit here in the U.S., that everything is about race. Yes, it's about race, but there's something else. Because there are places in this country where you're going to go and you're not going to find one single black person or one single Latino in prison, and everybody there is white. But there's another denominator. Which one? Class. Poor people, working class people. Because in the U.S., poor people go to prison and rich people get richer. That's a reality. So you also need to understand this reality that class also matter together with race. So we understand that. So we are not going to do some kind of dichotomy here, fighting people. We need to understand that there is a war against poor people, class people, by being working class people. So we need to understand. Some people get the worst. There was a moment that they don't dare to incarcerate women. So guess what? The new statistic. Incarceration of women went up more than 300%. And it's gonna get worse because with this male chauvinism mentality, now they're saying that it's not good to separate the mother from the children. They never said that about the father. So now they coming with new prison where the mother can bring the children. And your children gonna grow up inside the prison. A new generation inside the prison. So, my friend, let's be real. There are some people that because they have a very interesting description for those who are in power, they need to be criminalized. They need to be isolated. They need to be excluded. They need to be oppressed, and we need to stop that. That's why we're here. Just in case my friends here wondering what the hell we're doing here, this is the place to be because you come into our community. We coming into your community, the police headquarters. Thank you.
All right.